I want to thank my friend for having this hearing and say that, first of all, it's great to work with him, and I hope this is a shape of things to come, although I will criticize. His accent sounds Puerto Riqueño and hablo Mexicano. And so if you can just fix some of your accent, I think your Spanish would be that much better, Mr. Chairman.
Want me to sing it
more? On this hearing, also, if there was any thought by AT&T that the Republican member here at the hearing would help them out, let me disabuse them now. I think with a local reporter, after talking to some of my communities, my view on AT&T was, and the horse you rode in on. Because I think their proposal falls way short of the mark, and very glad that Barbara Pavlovich is here representing a number of our communities, and for Howard Simons here and the local team. We need cable television for more than watching the White Sox beat the Yankees, and
this relationship is not getting off to a good start.
But I understand that something is wrong with the world when McCain is up and so are the Cubs at this point. So
yes.
On this, I think this committee should take some action on this. It does appear that AT&T is in direct violation of Illinois law. And so whether it is in Springfield or in Washington, we should fix this to make sure that there is a very convenient place, especially for our seniors, to find what's happening in their local community. And especially, this is something so important that I breeze through local access cable like everyone else does, except when we're doing a zoning or other issue related to my neighborhood. And then we are locked on this like everyone else. And to make sure that people can rapidly participate in their local democracy is what this is all about. I will say, on another note, I'm very surprised we're holding a hearing on this topic in this committee at this time. The Congress has taken itself out of the game of conducting legitimate oversight over what is the number one story in the country right now, which is the bailout of several major financial institutions in the country, with next to no oversight by the elected representatives of the American people. We have now seen a bailout of Bear Stearns at $29 billion, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac at $200 billion, AIG at $85 billion, and a pending vote in the House later on tomorrow of the Detroit automakers at $25 billion. That's $339 billion going out of the Treasury with no oversight by the elected representatives of the American people. This is a Congress controlled by Democrats, and yet the Bush administration is in complete control with almost no oversight. And we have a real problem in this House. Much of these subjects are governed by the Ways and Means Committee, and yet we have a politically crippled chairman who may or may not be able to get anything through the House, given his growing legal problems. A Senate Appropriations chairman that, frankly, is not physically up to the job anymore. And so I look at the work of our committee, and I see a number of words: apathetic, benumbed, comatose, dormant, lackadaisical, lethargic, slumberous. I particularly like hebitate, but I might describe the best word is for our committee is torpid, which is physically and mentally inactive. The Appropriations Committee has not done this small amount of work since FY 46 of doing no major bill of any kind by this date. It's amazing that a political party, the Democratic Party, that would seek to have some sort of oversight on the number one issue facing the American people, and yet it is utterly inactive. With $339 billion going out of the Treasury. The number one goal, I think, of the federal government is to defend the dollar. And I don't see a defense of the dollar by the executive branch or an utterly inactive legislative branch. It would seem, with how the Ways and Means is crippled and how the Senate Appropriations is crippled, that two very capable leaders, the chairman and his chairman, who are not crippled ought to lead the charge of having a legislative branch oversight over what's going on. So, Mr. Chairman, I am completely with you on nailing AT&T over what they're doing over public access. But I would hope that very rapidly, since you are completely capable of this job, and this is the Financial Services Committee, and hundreds of billions of dollars are going out the door, that we move off our procurate stance here and get on with the job of legislative oversight over financial services. I yield back.
I thank the gentleman for his statement. I thank him for the words he just taught me. As you know, I don't know most of these words. English is a second language to me. That's something I share with President Bush.
I think we should educate everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will go to take our vote, but you did bring up interesting issues, and you'd be shocked that I'm not shocked that you agree with us on this whole cable issue. You also may not be shocked that this committee is trying to find out, this subcommittee, what role it plays in all of these bailouts. I suspect that someday we will have to pay for them. And so your concern is as legitimate as it can be. I must say, however, in closing, that the largest problem we have with the lack of appropriations bills, which frustrates me. I mean, I didn't become a chairman not to get at least a pen from the president or a certificate for a bill.
Yes.
And I may not see that. Is that a president who for 12 years thought it was okay to spend money, and I agree with him, now in the last 2 years has decided to veto any bill that spends $1.50 on domestic programs. That is the number one reason why we don't have bills. And you and I look forward to next year and to the rest of this year, whatever's left of it, to ask those questions. And I, one may say, well, as a Democrat, you're supposed to answer him in a different way. No, I myself am asking my leadership, and, what role will this subcommittee and this committee play?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Will it be like the war where we just print it in the basement?
Right. My hope is that you...
And let me give you my either profound or more sarcastic comment of the week, and one I've used for a while now. When a lady getting $60 a month for food stamps is singled out as being in that position because she cannot deal with her own personal responsibility, that's acceptable. When people rip us off for a couple of $100 billion, it's just a glitch in the economy.
And my hope is that you haul the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Secretary of the Treasury before the committee that signs their paycheck.
Yeah. And on that note, before we leave, this committee, and the staff behind you can fill you in on this committee found itself asking the SEC to take more money, to hire more people, to do the oversight, and having two agencies, the other one being the Consumer Product Safety Commission, telling us we really don't need any more money.
You don't need to get me started on the incompetence of one of those officials.
Okay, we will go vote, and we will return.
Thank you.